and we're going to go with the Ladies Tale podcast today because honestly, I've done And I Thought Ladies and the writers class. And since I have 4 podcasts, Ladies Tale podcast needs one. So we're going to work with it this way. We're going to interviewing a podcaster. What? She produces her own podcast. So wow, that makes her a producer. Wow. Okay, that was a little too much energy even for me. Let me bring it down. Okay. Now that doesn't even feel right. I only said 2 words and that doesn't feel right. Energy back up. It's kind of like volume listening to your favorite song. You're like, no, I'm going to do a good job. I'm going to keep it mellow tone. By the end of that song, you're like, and music blasting, windows down, and you're yelling, and oh, I've done too much again. I can tell. Woo. Anyway, I'm Winona, by the way. Oh my God, I remember to introduce myself. Good job to me. Good job to me. Because you guys know how often I don't remember to introduce myself. And I wrote books. Yes, there's a few of them. Oh, I wish you could see it. Okay, you're going to see it later. Our guest today has clappers. And so you don't even have to do a sign language clap today. She actually has like the clapping thing that does the, it's so amazing. You'll see it later. You'll see it later. Back on track. I wrote books. And some of them are, and I thought divorce was bad, and I thought being grown up was easy. If only I were me, a memoir in verse, foreign coffee, widow's dead, widow's web, and widow's debt. Woo! Almost didn't make it through there. Almost made it with a debit. And that's kind of cute. Maybe book 4 will be widow's debit. But that seems like it'd be boring. I think they might have to rob an ATM, and then that would just, yeah, no, that's too much. And there goes my brain again. Okay, we're straight. You can find those 6 books wherever you find audiobooks. And then if you've been watching us for a while, you know what comes next. We have 6 books plus 17 more books. And you can find that was the sign language section, just in case y'all weren't looking. So it was more and books and the number 17. You can find that at www.andithoughtLadies.com. Unfortunately, today I have energy, which means we're getting the car salesman pitch of my website. You can find those books on www.andithoughtLadies.com. Yeah, that felt good. It's been a minute. But you're not here to hear about me or my website, which I could happily tell you about, although it doesn't have much up on there. But you're not here to hear about that either. You're here to hear from our wonderful guest. Wonderful guest, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yes, I would. I not only have my clappers, but I also have my pom-poms today because we are with oh, no, no. And we're here to celebrate. Yay, I'm Ande Lyons, hailing from Boston. I'm a 4 times founder and a global startup mentor. But now that I'm at the age of 67, I am loud and proud about being in my 60s and helping people not be caged by their age with my new podcast, Don't Be Caged by Your Age, where I help dissolve and shatter the most socially acceptable prejudice out there, ageism. And I have delicious conversations with folks who have shattered those age-related expectations and help listeners dissolve their own indoctrinated, internalized ageist beliefs that often start with, I'm too old for that.
I think I've said that a few times. I'm too old for that. I just said it today.
And it really isn't just because the clock is struck midnight on a milestone elder age. You can say, I'm too old for that at being 20. Too old for that.
Yeah, it was like after 25, I'm too old for school. This is too much.
And you can see how when we get that feeling, it stops us from pursuing and doing things that might end up being one of the best things we've ever done for ourselves.
Granted, I'm too old for anything or any challenge. It's just like a challenge to do it, right? Like, I feel like as soon as you say it, you should be like, and then I challenge myself to try it.
Why not? You're going to learn something. And it could be that you really hate doing that.
Oh, besides, I mean, I feel like at that age, if you didn't like your job, you hated it, but you showed up and you retired from it, you might as well give it a shot at something you actually wanted to do.
Oh my gosh, episode 2, Mildred Mills, she had a book in her. And so she went back to school at the age of 68 and got her master's in creative writing so she could write this book. And then she learned that you have to have a platform if you write a book. You know all about that, right? And so she said, well, I guess I have to do a podcast. What's podcasts? She created a podcast and boom, she got her book published at the age of 72. And now she's becoming a speaker because that's also what she wanted to do.
Oh my goodness, that's amazing. But this is the thing. Though, when you're a speaker at the age of 72, you have so much to tell. When you're a
Mm.
young speaker, you have to stick to your notes. You can't meander through life experiences because they aren't there yet.
That's a really good point. Very good point. Oh my
Which makes
gosh.
any speech very entertaining because you're like, you'll tell, and then you're like, and then this one time. I'm sorry, y'all. This wasn't in the speech. It'll just take 2 minutes. And then the next thing you know, like, everyone's with you. They edge of their seats, taking notes, and they remember what you said. Now, enough talking about me, but you've done a great job, by the way. I just want to mention that you have done an amazing job of filtering in and weaving together not only what I'm saying, but segueing together your own podcast and remembering the episodes. I think it's time for the clappers. Exactly. Well done. Okay. So you said that you have been a founder of multiple things, of multiple startups. How have you found the energy and the time to do it?
Well, it all began in 1992 when I became unemployable, which means, I'm not hireable. So I had to figure something out. And so I started doing consulting, right? Helping companies raise money, things like that. And then in 1998, my husband and I founded a .com, raised 8 million. We were doing amazing things. We were online, on campus, and on cable, if people remember cable, on 250 college campuses around the country. We were doing really early Facebook, YouTube type of content and engagement. It was really great. But we didn't make it past the fall of 2000. It just, the rug got pulled out and all the .coms became .bombs, as did we. And then I went on and I founded a food business, a manufacturing business that I had a great 5-year run. I scaled it in less than 2 years nationally because I stayed off the grocery store shelves. That's right, listeners. You don't have to launch a food product on the grocery store shelf. If you are a minority owned business or woman owned business, you can get in on some great deals with food service. And so I was carried on corporate campuses around the country, college campuses, hospitals, inns. Great way to keep the margins, great way to build a love of your food product. Unfortunately, in year 5, Mother Nature came in and wiped me out. And that's some of the things they don't talk about when you're launching a business. And that's those extenuating circumstances. And between two of my primary ingredients getting wiped out by Mother Nature, droughts, etc., my manufacturing facility, and when you're producing food, you always hire what's called a co-manufacturer. Their plant was, I kid you not, got hit by lightning and burnt to the ground.
And you
So,
I thought I had bad luck. Okay. You
hey,
win.
it was
But
a
you've been
good,
so resilient.
well, you know what? And also it's how you frame the circumstance, right? So in both of those last two companies, even though they didn't have the traditional mythological outcome that many startups, new businesses have, oh, exited, or I went IPO, or I became a unicorn, billions. Yes. No, you have to honor the success that you did have. Repeat customers, something that the customers wanted, creating great user experiences, all the successes along the way. You have to hold on to that memory, not the at the end, I didn't make a bajillion dollars and become, world famous. You learn something. That's why I'm always saying, Nona, you always win when you launch a business, no matter what happens, because you're going to tap into skill sets that you didn't even know you had. You're going to go into dark, crazy parts of your body, your mind, everything, and say, what? I can do that? Yeah, you can. And it just builds you in such a way that if that business highly likely doesn't work out, you're ready for the next one, or you've got the best transferable skills that a company will pay even more for. Ta-da!
Exactly. And I always say this to a friend, if you own the business and you know that it looks like it's going out and you might have to get a corporation job, you should definitely give yourself a title upgrade.
100% on that. Absolutely.
One of my friends is like, I'm senior project manager. And I'm like, you own half the business, sweetie. Call yourself COO because
Right.
you're leaving. So
Right.
be like, I had 3 years as a COO. And I mean, honestly, their skills, what they do is COO operation level every day.
And
So
responsibility level.
that
That's the
responsibility
key.
level is right there, the exact same thing that they would ask. So give yourself the title upgrade, do 2 more years, then go shopping. Might as
Ta-da.
well.
And think about it this way too. When you go back to a corporation, they're going to have all the assets that you couldn't afford to have. Hello,
Oh my
IT, I need help. Or
all the resources that you
oh
love.
my,
Oh my God.
oh my
Not to
God.
mention possible cafeteria food because you know when you work for yourself or you're growing or you're scaling, you actually have to cook or order in. Either
And
way, it's coming out of your bank.
and I don't know about you, but when I turn to the plants and the cats, I just don't get the accolades I feel I deserve for the achievements I've done that day.
Oh my God. So me and Jay today were actually just discussing that about like how a business does not fail. It kind of lends to success at later spots in life, even in just your regular everyday life or even in conversations. The people are like, well, how do you know that? And you're thinking, well, one day I had to learn it or my business would have died.
Exactly.
Real
It's
good way
called
to learn things.
just in time learning.
Yes. And you learn so much this way.
Right.
So even if you're 60 and you have a business out there, believe me, you're not done learning. Actually, if you're 60 and you're thinking about starting a business, please do that. Just so you can
Yes.
add your life experiences and give them to your employees, unless they're really boring and dumb, then please don't mention them.
Age does not prevent innovation or success. And the thing to remember too, as you age, the best thing you can do to have a more active and agile aging experience is to try new things. It's amazing. And just in the podcasting world, when I launched my first podcast in 2012, I mean, I had someone holding my hand. I was so nervous for the first year, once a week, seriously nervous. And then boom, that was it. I could fly on my own, went on to Blog Talk Radio on my own, etc. But we did not back then. That's only 10 years ago, 12 years ago, 12 years ago. We did not have the tools that we have today. Today we
Yeah.
have Podpage, which is just ready for you to create the website of your dreams with all the bells and whistles you would ever want as a podcast host. I just found out about Opus Clips, where you upload your video and the AI goes through and captures a bunch of clips for social media, for TikTok, for IG Reels, and puts in the captions. Oh my God. And it could takes a landscape like we are right now in a Zoom and puts you one on top of the other. Seriously, it's magic.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
And then there's
That's
Cast
amazing.
Magic. My other favorite is Cast Magic, which is it uploads your audio and it does with AI. It creates 10 options for titles. It creates a bio. It creates introduction. It creates a newsletter. It creates a LinkedIn post. It creates a thread. It creates a Twitter X thread. It creates a reel for you with a transcript. It creates quotes. It creates questions. I mean, what?
Okay,
And
so I would like you to slowly list those resources again.
okay, I'm going to start with Podpage. Podpage is where you can go to have your podcast. You're still going to have your audio uploaded to a Buzzsprout, which is my favorite because it's just delicious and colorful. And it's like MailChimp for podcasters. And that's what shoots your audio out to Apple, Spotify, Amazon Music, etc., all the places. And it will also send it to your Podpage quote website. And you have a bunch of templates you can choose, or if you're a super cool coder, you can go in there and make it all fancy yourself. But what it puts in there as well is a beautiful place to hold the episodes, places for people to write reviews, leave reviews, rate your podcast, places for guests to put all their information in. So you've got that, a blog. It just has everything. And if you're interviewing people, one of my favorite things is that the guest puts all that information in and you have a terms and conditions form that when they check the box saying, I agree to be on Andy's show, it's saying, and if Annie wants to, share this on Sirius XM or with the world, she has my permission. You need those kind of legal docs. So that's why I love Pod Page, because now you can go in there, make any changes, choose your colors, choose your everything. And it's not like having a WordPress site where you have to work really hard. And then I love, and I just got introduced to OPUS clips. It's $9 a month. That's like Canva, $9 a month, and you're going to upload your video. It not only takes your landscape video and turns it into these portrait size clips with captions, which you can, fool around with and make fun or however you want. It also comes up with the best reach titles. So it's going to tell you this title is going to have a 98% reach, is going to be this, and it's a trending topic, and like all the SEO things you want. Because folks, you can put all your fancy schmancy stuff on social media. You don't get downloads from social media. You get brand awareness, you get people cheering wildly, or people like, oh, that sounds so cool. But what really gets you downloads is SEO and PR. And then my other one is Cast Magic, because now it's so much easier to edit. So you're going to look at those 10 titles and go, oh, which one do I like? And then you're going to fix it to the one you like, but at least it got it started. Same with the newsletter, same with a LinkedIn post, same with the show notes that you have to put up there, whether it's YouTube or Buzzsprout or wherever. You've got to write them. Well, now you've got content to start with, and then as you prompt, and if you know how to use AI, it's all about the prompt. Hi, AI, or hi, ChatGPT. I'm Ande Lyons. I'm a podcaster in her 60s, and I need help with fill in the blank. You give it enough information, prompting, and you can say, don't be too chatty. And that's what Cast Magic does. It'll redo the segment that you're looking at to be more serious or less formal or shorter, whatever. It's so friggin' cool. So that's Cast, CASTMAGIC, castmagic.io.
Thank you. Oh my goodness. And look at that. I was sitting over here like, I wonder what I could do with this podcast. I just do it for kicks and giggles and to meet people. I
Well,
love meeting people.
that's one of the best reasons to do a podcast. One of the mythologies around podcasting is that you're going to start a podcast and it's going to have all these downloads and then you're going to monetize it. So the reality is, unless you've got some really cool crime show, or something in a really cool category like that, you have to be in podcasting for two reasons. One, you're using it for brand awareness and to create a funnel for work to come your way or increase an understanding of what you're doing in the world, and also to create a stickiness out there so that you are going to have link backs and people are going to be able to find you. But most often people get so upset, oh, I only have 20 downloads. My God, if you had 20 people in a room, you'd be thrilled to be able to talk about your work. Or one of my favorite reasons for podcasting is, let's say you're entering a new industry. You need to up your game to be an expert. That EEAT, which that Google, algorithms use, they like to see your experience, your expertise, your authority, and I'll never remember what the T stands for. But anyway, that's what they're looking for. So when you have a podcast, you start interviewing experts in your industry while you build up your own expertise, and you're having great conversations with people, and you're building your network, and your network is your net worth. Wow, who wouldn't want to start a podcast, right?
Everyone asked me, they were like, well, why do you have a podcast? And I was like, first of all, I get to meet amazing people and I get to hear them talk. And one of my, I'm a writer. So one of my favorite things in the world is to hear a story. Tell me a story. And they all come on and they tell me a story. This is like the best job ever. And then like I can talk to them later and be like, oh, can you come back and tell me a whole new story? Or hey, we should collaborate or something. This is fun. And then on top of it, I get experience. So I could either, back in the day when you had to go to the library and get an encyclopedia. So I hear about these days where dinosaurs roam the earth. My dad, who's 72, tells me about them all the time. Oh,
I know my kids always just say, "Oh yeah, that's back in what 1832, mom and dad." Yeah, okay, knock it off.
and then you have to look up the information and you're reading it. And honestly, reading a book is not going to tell you as much as talking to an expert and just being like, all right, here we go. let me learn. Like, I just learned all this cool new stuff.
Right. And for anybody who's considering podcasting, think about this. So Buzzsprout might be $18 a month. Podpage might be 18 bucks a month. You got to buy a mic. That's a one-time purchase, a good microphone. So that's
Unless
around
you're me, you've run through 3 of them in 2 months.
So you're going to pay, about 70 bucks for the mic. But let's think about the monthly recurring. Okay. That's the overhead you have to meet. So we're up to $38. Cast Magic, I think, is 12. So now we're up to $50. And then, so I said Buzzsprout, Podpage, Cast Magic. You could also do Descript, which is one of the best, most wonderful editing tools. Do you know about Descript? Well, no,
I
no.
don't edit, so now I know about no
Okay,
edit.
yeah. So Descript, everybody, is probably another maybe 12 bucks a month. But what you do is you upload your audio, and it has the audio on the bottom, but it's all the text. And you go, oh, I want to take out that whole paragraph. It automatically removes the audio, that paragraph from your audio. It's like makes editing ridiculously easy. So now you're up to 50, 60 bucks a month, right? Maybe there's some other bells and whistles, Canva for 9 bucks, Opus,
But
clips
you
for
gotta
another nice
include,
15.
you gotta include Canva. Can't
Yeah,
live without
got to
Canva.
include Canva. And so now, you're still under $100 to have a podcast. So if you said to yourself, well, if I wanted to monetize it, I'd have to find a way to at least break even. How am I going to earn $100 to break even on this podcast? Now, sure, you're going to have to learn how to onboard guests. You're going to have to take the time out for editing and all of that. But still, it might, for each show, you could have it streamlined into a 5.5, 6 hour commitment a week. And you can see the value out of that.
Exactly. I always tell people, like, if you're like, oh, how am I ever gonna do a podcast? And well, I was like, they do have these podcasts out there. They don't do great anymore, but they used to. They were like little 5 or 6 minute ones, like just for the beginning of the day, to be like for if you're writing, be like, today this is my goal, and this is what I learned about my goal. 3 sentences. That is your podcast for the day. 5 minutes, not too much to edit, but it's a podcast, and it's there.
It's
And it's raising awareness, and it's great for TikTok because now it's just a sound bite.
well, and who does that really well is Charity Youngblood. Oh my God, her podcast is called Life Questions and Lessons. And it is 5 minutes. It's brilliant.
Exactly. Just enough to start your day, just enough to end your day, and that's like not a long commitment. All right. I told you we were having a 17-minute commitment, and I am officially 5 minutes over. Or a little bit more. Maybe.
Well,
I think.
because we're having an Andy-licious conversation.
But like when you have okay, everyone has to listen to her podcast. Can you please just tell us about the podcast that you have had so that we can catch up with them? Because her voice is amazing as a podcast.
Aw. Well, you can, if you're a startup founder or thinking about launching a business, you can always go onto YouTube or Apple, Spotify, wherever you find podcasts, and listen to the Startup Life Show with Ande Lyons, and 200 plus episodes. On YouTube, there's 250 live stream episodes, but on the podcast audio, there's almost 300 with talking to diverse founders from all walks of life. It's amazing. And then I had a mini series called Your Ink Story. It was 30 episodes interviewing people who told me their stories behind the body art they wear. And my goodness, the tattoo industry is so phenomenal, and why people put that art on their body is so fascinating. It really connects us on a human level. But what meant so much to me, especially as a woman in her 60s, with all the anti-aging and all the messaging out there saying, you're a horse, you need to go out to pasture because we don't want to see you anymore because you're old. You're old. We don't want you. You should be afraid. This is not a good time for you. I really felt called to talk about don't be caged by your age. And that's my current podcast. I'm about to drop episode 6 on April, where are we? The 19th, on April 11th. And I'm talking to great people. If you are over 60 and you've got a fun story about how you're shattering ageism and how you're flipping the script on what to do after you're 60, please reach out to me. The one thing I have seen the most, Winona, is women who are modeling in their 60s and 70s and 80s. Seriously.
Yeah.
So,
I
there's
have to
just,
say so. Well, we own 2 magazines. And so for 2 years, the covers of our magazines have been over 60.
oh,
And they're 2 of our best-selling magazines. Like, it's called the magazine is called the 25 Hottest Authors, Artists, and Advocates. Oh my goodness, these women are gorgeous. And then you'll be like, can you believe she's like 60 something? And you're like, what?
Well, you've got to
How
have
old
Mildred
is
J.
her?
Mills on because her story, is just amazing. She was born in Alabama, the third of 17 children, picking cotton with her grandmother. And where she went in life and how she educated herself along the way is one of the most fascinating, just life affirming stories. And she has a beautiful voice that you could listen to all day.
I bet you that helped her with her journey in life. That voice gets you places, especially on the telephone. Okay.
She has a voice for radio. Oh, but anyway,
I'm
so
hoping to interview her then. Mildred,
you
hey,
have to. I'm
I'm
going to
trying
send
to
you all her
interview you.
contact. Yeah, you will love,
Definitely.
love, love her, and very engaging as well. But if anybody who is tuning in to hear and is thinking about podcasting, and is in the New England area or not. I just launched a community called New England Podcasters Group, and we have a hybrid event every month, the second Saturday of every month. And it's where wannabes can come in and learn from other more seasoned podcasters and get the community and support they need. And I bring this up because sometimes, we as humans crave community. Even the introverts need some community. And a lot of times you may not find the community that you're seeking, which means you got to create it yourself.
Exactly.
And so last
Exactly.
month, that's what I did.
Awesome. I'm so
Doing
excited for this. And you said hybrid, so there's a Zoom link or some sort of link
That's right. They can come zooming right in and join us. And we care deeply that they're showing up.
because I will be there.
Yay.
Wanted to
Awesome.
say, I need to learn. I want to thank you so much for being here with us today. And I'm not gonna lie, like there are about 7 other questions that I meant to ask. And well, I do not want to take up any more of your time because I mean between founding and doing other podcasts, I feel like you
Can I do
gotta
a shout out?
yes,
Oh my gosh.
definitely.
So do you know Trisha Hersey, the
No.
NAP ministry? This is her rest deck. It is a phenomenal hashtag rest is resistance. So having, lived and breathed the hustle culture of the startup world, we need to do a better job. And these are her cards right here. But if you follow her online, the NAP ministry, she is phenomenal. So if I just even check, I'll take out just one of her cards here and it reads, in a culture focused on hyperproductivity, it can feel uncomfortable to sit and do nothing and let silence wash over you. Doing nothing is a radical part of your lifelong rest practice. To be intentional about embodying rest disrupts systems of oppression. We must practice rest. We must commit to it as a protest. We must go slow, go stare at the sky, go stare at your heart.
Y'all, I know I'm the narcissist. So I'm gonna tell you this works out because I'm gonna tell a story about me. I love what she just said there because yesterday after many years, not saying how many years since I started, I took a day and I didn't answer one email. I sat in my chair and I rested and thought. And I'm going to tell you, this is a whole new day. I feel like I just started the year again. I feel like it's January 1st and I'm starting fresh. Yes, I feel like this is a must buy. We need more advice like that. Like, because I was sitting there like, I should be doing. And then I was like, I'm doing nothing. What I'm going to
You
do.
were being.
Yes. I'm Andy, the wisdom that you bring. That's all I have to say. And you don't look like you're over 60. So I feel like the wisdom that you bring at 50 something.
Hey, I got the Zoom beauty face on.
I don't, but I'm sure I'm looking like I'm 50 something. But
No, no, no,
yeah,
no.
that is an amazing face. You got to give me makeup tips in a minute for
No, no,
lipstick.
it's DNA. It's absolutely DNA.
Oh, well, one day we're gonna be like, tell me all about your DNA, girl. That's the one I need in the future, like 2060 or something. All right. All right. All right. See, like I told Andy before we started that I was going to need someone to get me back on track. And here I am off track talking about futuristic DNA plots. Can you tell us where to find out more information about you and how we can listen to these podcasts one more time before we roll out of here?
Ande Lyons, Andelyons. Follow me everywhere. Please say hi. I would love to meet you and give you a virtual hug. And of course, the podcast you can hear anywhere. You can even ask Alexa to play it. It's called Don't Be Caged by Your Age.
Awesomeness. Thank you so much. I tell you, you do roar like a lion in your spaces. I thought
Well,
of that and I was like, no, I'm not going to use it because it was too bad. It was too bad of a pun of words. But what
but
do you think?
I'm also a Leo. So
Ah, it
roaring is very good.
So I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up for me over here. I'm Winona, and I'm one of the And I Thought Ladies. You can check out everything that your ladies are up to at www.andithoughladies.com. And while you're there, you can go down to the middle of the page and see the 3 charities that we proudly support. We ask that you take the time out to actually support them as well. That does not mean you have to give money. You can give time in or knowledge. As Andy has approved today, there's a lot of value in knowledge. You can give those, you can support them that way. We thank you in advance for that. And remember that wisdom is all around you if you're open to finding it and accepting it. So peace and love, you guys, from Winona and the Missing Jade. Oh, yeah. Thanks for listening.